It's prime time to get those flower beds ready for spring. Pat Snuffer is a lawn care expert with Kansas City Parks and Recreation who specializes in preparing beds throughout the city. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Now walk us through the process. Where do we start?
It depends if you have an existing bed or you're going straight from scratch.
Let's go from scratch. We want good soil, right? Is that the foundation of it all?
If you're going to start a new bed, you need to make sure that any of the old grass or sod there is killed out either through an herbicide or if you're doing it an organic way, you have to prepare that in the fall and cover it with grass, newspaper, or something like that to kill the grass out.
Okay, in terms of arranging plants, do you like to go by color? Do you like to just make sure that we have the size so that you don't get too overcrowded quickly?
With the ones that we do, most of our beds are annual beds, so we don't have to worry about them getting too big too quickly. We base it on size and also the color.
Okay, so you have some great examples here. What did you bring?
These over here are different types of cannas. These in the middle are different types of coleus, and these are a couple more cannas over here.
So these will actually bloom. Talk about what we'll see later on this season.
Once these get about 3 or 4 foot tall, probably towards the end of May, they'll start putting out their bloom stalks, and cannas will do a stalk where they'll have like several blooms coming down the stalk of it.
So for those of us that do not have a green thumb, what are some of the easier flowers to maintain? What do you recommend for Kansas City?
Kansas City, I found that some of the lantanas work good because they take the hot weather. If you're not as good watering them, they take the dry soil. Vincas, we use a lot of angelonia.
My Vincas always do really well here.
They love the heat.
They love the heat. And the person that cannot maintain them. So they still survive me. Okay, so walk us through the tools that every gardener should have.
If you're doing a home garden, I would start with shovels, some kind of rake, trowels to plant. Those would be your basic ones to start with. You can always rent a tiller or something like that if you're going to go till a bed up to get it ready for planting.
What about those amateur gardeners out there? Any recommendations for them in terms of what they should know this year?
Just watch the weather. You really can't get started planting some of your summer annuals until towards the 1st of May, middle of May, when the ground warms up.
Let's talk about the weather. We do have some potentially cold weather coming up next few days. How do we protect our plants from a potential freeze?
Once it gets down to the freezing, you've got a couple degrees leeway there. If you're worried about it and want to be extra sure, you can always throw some sheets or something over the top of the plants if you can't bring them inside.
Do you recommend plastic or cloth? What's your...
I would do more cloth. The thing with the plastic is where it's touching the plant, it could actually get it too cold or freeze it right there at that spot and create more harm than good. Okay,
and you guys are really busy this year. Where are you planting?
We are planting all over town. Last fall, they did the new sales tax for the park department, and that added an extra 40 beds on to us. So we've now are doing 80 annual beds plus some perennial beds that we've had in before. We are going all the way from Redbridge and Holmes up to Tiffany Springs by the airport. We go from Ward Parkway. Our farthest one to the east is around 9th and Van Brunt. We're down any of the boulevards. We're in some of the parks. So we cover everything.
Well, thank you for what you do to make our city look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in. All right, thrift shopping, Starstruck, and Chef Charles from Chaz. It's all ahead after today's top stories and weather from your 41 Action News team. Stay with us.